Come here. Today, we're gonna talk about jumping kicks. And I'm sick and tired of martial arts people who are probably third dans or fourth degree black belts not knowing how to condition themselves into getting those perfect jumping explosive kicks. Because a lot of the people from the martial arts world do every single conditioning exercise until oblivion. Like for 20, 30, 50 reps as if they were in the ring. But you know, it's a whole different energy system when you're trying to get that explosion of a jumping kick, you know, like an Instagrammable kick. And not just a jumping kick that you would do 100 times in a row like in a ring, because you're not gonna do it anyways. So, if you really want those high, beautiful, explosive, and powerful jumping kicks, you should realize that you have to start working your strength and your power by decreasing the number of repetitions. And the first thing you should do is you should weight lift the hell out of yourself. Like 2 or 3 times a week, you should do a back squat, you should do a power clean. Already a tutorial on the power clean on my channel. And anywhere from 3 to 5 reps will be the best thing for you to stiffen up your tendons and make sure that you're able to have an explosive, powerful body able to do that triple extension when you extend at the ankles, the knees, and the hip, because that's where the power comes from in almost all of your kicks. Nobody wants to throw a jumping side kick like this, you know? You want to extend first and only then you lift and then you extend, right? Therefore, even though we're not going to use any weights today, only our beautiful physique, we're gonna follow that same principle of 3 to 5 repetitions on each leg or both legs even. We're gonna jump as high as freaking humanely possible. And then we're gonna work on your hips, because if your core, your obliques, your psoas, your glutes, everything in between doesn't work well, you're not gonna get a beautiful kick. You're gonna get something like, like this. I see a lot of people kicking like this, like all closed up, and they're assholes. Okay, enough chit chat. You've done enough damage to your body. You're all ruined, so let's unruin you. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna warm up. And by warming up, I mean a lot of dynamic flexibility exercises. We're not gonna go through them right now. We have a lot of good videos on that. But remember that it's not about jumping and receiving the jumping, coming back up. So the springy part of the jump kicks is not about working and developing the muscles. It's much more of developing the tendons. And by stiffening the tendons, I mean something like light plyometrics, like jumping rope and stuff like that will be very, very useful when you're warming up. Because after that, you'll be able to be much more springy for the workout. So I just came here and I saw this bench, and from here I just started doing this without my heel going to the floor, and I'm gonna go from one side to the other, just something really, really easy like that. And from here, I'm just gonna go with the heel to my butt. So from here, 1, 2, 3. So it's a little bit of a post warm-up and preparation set for what's coming next. Remember, this leg is not going up, it's not driving up. I'm actually not doing anything with this leg other than support. And from here, I'm being as quick as possible. Why? Because I want that when I'm doing the snappy kicks. So do it about 5, 6 times on one leg and then the other. So one side to the other, maybe 10 repetitions, and then 1, 2, 3, and keep going. So you've worked on the recoil, now let's get our knees as high as possible in the least amount of time possible as well. So I'm here, and from here I'm just gonna go as if I were gonna knee butt someone, like, okay? See, only the bottom leg is working. The knee, the heel will not touch the floor. Okay, good enough. And then the other leg. So as quick as possible, as high as possible, because that sets up the beauty of the flying kicks. Okay, you're ready for the next phase, which is the first plyometric drill, which is the king of all plyometric drills. Make sure you have your feet hip width apart. You're not gonna jump from here. You're always gonna jump for something like this, unless you're in a combat stance. We're gonna get to it in a minute. So first from here, you're gonna jump as high as possible, opening up your hips, and only then will you bring your knees up. I always like to touch my hands. It's a little bit more playful, it's a little bit more pleasurable, so I'll leave it up to you. So from here, use your arms, go all the way down, and then boom, up there. See? And land first on the toes, like this. Okay? As high as possible, make sure your core is really tight. Once you do this, you're gonna do anywhere from 3 to 5 repetitions. So here. See? We're gonna do 2 sets of this with 1.5 minutes in between of rest. Okay, I'm sure you felt the hips opening up and then the knees driving up, so it's all progression. It's not about you lifting the knees before you extend the hips. That's a major mistake in jump kicking. So now we're gonna change things around. You're gonna rest a little bit, that specific motion, and we're gonna work on the jumping side kick prep. So what you're gonna do is, you're gonna start with 2 steps. So if you're left foot forward, you're gonna go for 1, 2, jump up as if you were gonna throw a side kick, and then this one will jump or will reach as high as possible in that leaning positioning for the side kick. So it's gonna be something like this. 1, 2. Okay, so bring this knee as high as possible as if you wanted to cover, because once you do the side kick, you want to cover really beautifully to get that shot, that beautiful shot.
Willow, when can I throw the side kick?
You can't, because you're still learning how to jump. You know, first walk, then run, then fly. Okay, please step away. So the next exercise will be from your knees, as if you were doing a karate class, like oh, and from here, you're gonna jump up, explode up, and work a little bit more on that hip opening. So instead of going like this, see, I did not open up my hips. I'm gonna go as high as possible with my glutes going up and opening the hip, and only then, boom, will I land. So from here, and once again, and from here, I will jump up onto a tuck. Okay, do this 3 to 5 repetitions once again with very big and enough recovery rest and enough jumping for today. Don't worry, you still got a lot of work to do. So we're gonna work on the speed of your roundhouse kicks, because you gotta be faster, you gotta be really snappy and with beautiful form at the same time when you kick. And we're gonna grab hold onto something. It might be a chair, might be a wall, might be a tree, a willow tree. And if you're wondering why you will need support, because I really want you to focus on the muscles and on the beauty of the kick without having to worry about balance. We're not working on balance today, because when you jump kick, you don't need a lot of balance to begin with. Maybe only to land if you want to go to some other kick afterwards, but during, you're not going to be able to, you know what I mean. So you're going to grab hold onto something, a willow tree, and then we're going to face the opposite direction with the bottom foot. You're going to lift your knee as high as possible, work those obliques and make them as strong as possible. Do this a couple of times, and then you're gonna extend and bend, extend, bend, extend, bend. We're gonna do this 10 times. First, you're just gonna design the motion as if you were kicking your worst enemy, politician, and then we're gonna do it really quick. So here. So what's important here is that you don't try to rush it. I could be a little bit faster, but I would only ruin the technique. So I really want you to go for that full bend, full extension, bend, extension, bend, extension. And beware that you should not extend 100%. You should always extend like 97% in order not to have your knee torn off. So it's very important that your first kick is exactly the same as the last one. Try to keep that in mind and really focus on the target. Pow, 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 pow. And now let's go on to the second exercise for the hip strength. So now we're gonna really focus on you keeping that openness of the hip with the side kick and doing a little bit of a circle in an outer motion and then an inward motion. Check it out. So here, you're gonna hold. Let's not keep the bottom leg 100% extended, just like 97%, so that you have a little bit of a solid ground here. And from here, you're gonna side kick. You're gonna imagine that you have a little target here. You're gonna rotate around it, keeping your legs straight. So from here, 1, 2, 3, do anywhere from 8 to 10 repetitions to the outside, and then switch to the inside. The higher you can go, the better, keeping your obliques very tight. But if you can't go high, go low, like this. You know, start small and then keep progressing up. And don't forget to do with the other leg. So here, 1, 2. So see, you should not have difficulty with one leg in detriment of the other. You should do it with both legs. It's never gonna be the same, but it's, you know, it's hard work. And the last exercise that will keep grinding your hips and obliques is gonna be the side plank with side kick. So you're gonna put your elbow right below your shoulder level. You're gonna go onto a side plank like this, but from here, you're gonna knee in, kick, and then come down. Knee in, kick, maintain. Try not to close your hips, open up the hips, and come down. So 1, 2, 3. Here, try to show your ass to your opponent. Pa! 1, 2, 3. Believe me, this is mayhem. You do it anywhere from 10 to 15 times on each leg, really slow, and we've worked on pretty much everything other than weights or flexibility for the jumping kicks. So this is one workout that you should be able to do like 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm sure you'll really see incredible results once you're trying to do, or once you're gonna do the actual jumping kicks. So trust me. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because that way I'll know what other tips to give you, because I got a lot of good tips for your kicks, Instagrammable kicks. They're gonna be so badass. Willow badass.